Shota Imanaga is going to be out at least 15 days. We'll see how that affects the rotation. I feel like Cade Horton's going to make his debut soon, but the Cubs have another option that we need to talk about, and that's Jordan Wicks down in Iowa, coming off of an impressive outing, and someone that that the Cubs can rely on when the time's right. Ryan Presley talking about reliable, part of one of the worst, maybe the worst inning ever for a reliever, and Cory Abbott, former Cubs prospect, signs that and more right here on the Cubs Baseball Channel. Like, subscribe, thumbs up. Thanks for being here. And I know it's a lot. Cardinals fans are always like, hey, it's you want us to like, subscribe, give us thumbs up. Yeah, and comment. 4 things. You guys aren't capable of that. Cubs fans, you know what I'm doing. Let's go. What do you say, everybody? Mick Gillespie, Cubs Baseball Channel. Thank you for being here. Let's talk about what's going on right now. And let's start right here because we're all wondering how the Cubs are going to cover for Shota Imanaga being out. Now, the first couple of games without him, it doesn't really seem like anything, but his spot's going to come up in the rotation on Saturday. Who's going to be the guy? If it's not Cade Horton, it's going to surprise me. Chris Flexen pitched in relief again. And I feel like it's going to be Cade Horton, but it could be this guy here, Jordan Wicks, although I don't think it's going to be this time because it doesn't line up in the rotation. But Wicks is a pitcher that we've seen in the big leagues before, and we've seen him have success. He took care of Toledo yesterday, going 5 innings, giving up 5 hits and no runs, couple of walks, 5 strikeouts. And he's a guy who I think is very capable of being a very consistent starter, a 4th or 5th guy in the major leagues on a regular basis. I mean, he was kind of at that position and then was hurt and has tried to come back from that. But, he has the great changeup. He keeps batters off balance. He's a bulldog on the mound, and he's someone who is trying to find it after, a little bit of time in the big leagues, a little bit of time in the minor leagues. And someone that right now the Cubs are going to probably need to rely on. And we've seen him rely on Flexen. We've seen him rely on Ray, who slid into the rotation. Now that you're down 2 left-handers, it'd be nice to have a Wicks that'd be able to be a starter on the staff. He's got the potential to be really good at it, and we've seen him do that before. But, it's just basically being consistent with the strikes. And it kind of felt like he really was never totally back even last year. So maybe this is a sign of things to come, but he's definitely an option after a strong outing in Iowa. Now, the second thing I wanted to get into was Ryan Presley, because that extra inning game after the Cubs came back to tie it in the 9th, kept them off the board in the 10th, That 11th inning is probably the worst inning of baseball that I've ever seen a pitcher throw. I mean, and look, I get it. It's a one-time thing. I mean, maybe I shouldn't be that concerned about it, but wow, it's hard not to be concerned about it. We talked about his declining stuff when the Cubs signed him, and then we kind of hoped, well, maybe he'd be a setup guy like he was in Houston after Josh Hader was brought in. But that's not the case. And, when you look at it, he's lost some velocity on his 4-seam fastball, velocity and ride. It's people say it looks more like a cutter. His curveball is only above average pitch. When you talk to people that are kind of really into this, they don't feel like he's got closer stuff, that it's only a matter of time before he gets knocked off of the closer role. But this was a stat that Cubs SI had that I thought was so interesting. He's the only reliever in MLB history to allow 8+ runs in a game, not record an out, and take the loss since earned runs became an official stat in both the American and National League in 1913. This is an issue. The closer spot is an issue. And what I'm hoping is that someone like a Daniel Palencia figures it out enough to take that job, because Palencia's got the velocity. He's got the ability to come in there and be a difference maker in the late innings. it's just a matter of time from, I think, before he figures it out. He's always this guy that's like a pitch away. But this here, watching Presley and the way that they roughed him up, it's very concerning for the Cubs. And I know it's just one game, and I hope that he's able to bounce back. But my goodness, I mean, that it was just hard to watch. Couldn't believe it. And obviously the Cubs got pounded. And then another, and look, even forget about the final score. They didn't win. But what I like about this team, and it was the same thing in that windy day game yesterday, is that these guys fight hard. You're not going to be able to score a lot of runs when the wind's blowing that fiercely in at Wrigley, because you're not going to hit home runs unless you hit line drives. Even those were getting knocked down. So if you don't hit home runs, you're going to have to manufacture scores. You got to hit ground balls. I thought the Giants caught a couple breaks, but it's not an easy win. These guys fight hard. I like the way that this team shows up every day. Giants are good. Cubs are good. And, hopefully they'll jump right back at it and take care of business. But I think that this Presley situation is one of the biggest concerns that they have. And I don't know who you go out to get to replace him. I think that the best option is an internal option, whether that be Porter Hodge, whether that be Daniel Palencia. Maybe it's somebody else that we're not even thinking about. But Presley, to me, feels like, I don't know, like he's got to do a lot better than he's done, or the Cubs are going to be in trouble because close games are going to be hard to win. All right, this is a guy that I like just as a person. Cory Abbott came up through the Cubs system, was one of their top prospects. And MLB trade rumors reported that he has a minor league deal with the Rangers. So he was in AAA. He was in the Mexican League. And, he'll go to the AAA from the Mexican League. And, you hope that a good guy like him ends up being able to get back on, solid ground in the big leagues. But he was the second-round pick for the Cubs in 2017, came up through the organization. I always liked his changeup. Pitched for the Cubs in 2021, didn't do well. Only 17 in the third innings and had an ERA of 6.75. That's not going to get the job done. He was with the Nationals a couple of years and had 9 starts and a 5.87 ERA. He was non-tendered by Washington, signed with the Mariners, released, came back to the White Sox. That didn't work out. And he was in the Mexican League and had a pretty good year in the Mexican League, right? Of 2.40 ERA in the Mexican League. And now he's getting another chance with the Rangers. So wish him the best of luck as he tries to finish, or I guess get his career back on track again. And then the final thing was this. Dansby Swanson and some of the Cubs were giving Pete Crow Armstrong a little bit of trouble for trying to make a dive on a play that there was no chance he was going to get. Now, he had Kyle Tucker right behind him. He's wanted to see if he could catch it. He was interviewed after by Marquee, and he's talking about it. The guy is so smart. He's +8 above replacement. He's the best defensive outfielder. Maybe Craig Counsell says he might be the best defender of any position in baseball. I don't disagree with that. Remember, he won the best minor league defender, the ultimate glove. I think it was like a platinum glove when he was in the minor leagues and spent time between double and AAA with the Cubs. I love the way that the guy goes after it. And sometimes you wonder, but in his mind, he thinks he might be able to make that catch. And then in yesterday's game, just is some amazing plays out there. But what I really like about him is the showmanship, that he's getting heckled by the crowd and he bows to them. And he laughs about Dansby Swanson putting up a little picture in his locker, about how close he was to getting it. He takes it in stride. He's a special talent on the field, but he's a good guy off the field. And I have no problem with him going after it. And then the guy he reminded me of, Javi Baez, seeing him take care of business, start to hit the ball now, center field, third base, shortstop. I know we talked about Baez a couple of days ago, but I'm going to tell you that Baez I think he's my favorite player since my kid days, since the Rhino and Hawk days and Gracie. And I love him, and I'm so glad that he's figuring it out again in Detroit. Good for him, because I'll pull for him and Bryant and Rizzo and any of those World Series Cubs forever. So seeing the Rangers get Cory Abbott was cool. And then, watching Javi Baez steal a home run from Jorge Soler. And then, you start to really pay attention and you see that he's walking more and that he's being a little more selective at the plate, but he's finding the love for the game that didn't seem like it was there when he first went to Detroit. And it's probably because they don't need him. Look, they were having success without him. He's not that kind of guy. He's going to want to get in there and be part of it. So anyway, good for him. And we'll keep an eye on those guys as well. But you guys tell me what you think in the comments section. I think Jordan Wicks is a strong candidate to be involved with this Cubs pitching staff sometime soon. They're probably going to want to see a couple more great outings out of him, but they're going to need him because, who knows how long it takes for Show to return. Word is he's going to continue to throw even as he works on getting his hamstring back to 100% or close to it. I'm looking for Cade Horton on Saturday to make his debut. I think that would give the Cubs a boost, and I think he's a guy that could be a star. But I'll tell you what, Jordan Wicks is a very solid starter as well, and it would be great to have him helping out. Cubs lose to the Giants, but that doesn't mean that the season's over. They lost 2 games to the Giants. They're off today. Then they take on the Mets in New York, 6:10 on Friday night. Jameson Taillon for the Cubs, 2-1 record and a 2.86 ERA. And the Mets are a surprisingly really good team, and the Cubs are going to see one of their best pitchers, Clay Holmes, who's 4-1 with a 2.95 ERA. And so those two will match up on Friday, and then we'll see. Saturday could be Cade Horton Day. Could be the debut of the Cubs' top pitching prospect. You guys tell me what you think. We'll see what happens. All right, thanks for being here. Go Cubs.